Hello everybody, and welcome to this video. This is a video that is part of a collab with a bunch of other people. The only names I can remember at the top of my head, because I'm sick, are Goobertown Hobbies and eBay Miniature Rescues. Now, I had a bigger thing planned, but inevitably, as things do, they are wrong. So we're going to break this down and talk about the plans and all that jazz. So the concept of this series of videos, the links to everybody else's channels are going to be in my description. So please go check everybody else out that's doing this. The concept that I think most of us are following for this one is revisiting our very first miniature and like getting another copy of it and doing it better and showing our growth and our improvement in our general skill sets. I'm all congested. And mine turned out pretty solid. I'm really excited about it. The issue is that I was going to do a not long, but like a decently sized video of the sped up whole painting and everything. And then my computer crashed and I lost it. All that footage. And then the base, which came out really cool, was drying on the table because it's really humid in my room because I'm in the basement. It was drying on the table and it got knocked off, and my dumb little puppy, bless her heart, munched it to pieces. Not that big of a deal. I can remake it. She's safe. We're cool. So it's not that big of a deal. But unfortunately, I only have half of a thing to show for. But stuff happens. And I'd rather have her eat the base than this. So, that's where we're at. The reason we wanted to have a bunch of people that are in the community and make and post things revisit their old stuff is to show growth, because a big issue is a lot of people when they start out or they're trying to get into the hobby see all of these videos of people that just kind of seem to know what they're doing. And that's the one thing I've always wanted to do with my channel, is be super transparent about what I do and do not know how to do. And people are like, oh, but that's unprofessional. I was like, no, what's unprofessional is lying to people about how easy or difficult stuff is. I'm not good at this. Everything is new and an adventure. I could have played it safe painting this model and making that base and doing all this stuff, but even now I tried a dozen new things. Some of them didn't work this time, but some of the stuff worked out really well, and it came out really cool. So this also doesn't have decals, because I forgot that the decals were a thing, and it is too close to when we're supposed to be posting these videos to scratch freehand. That's the word, freehand them. So I will post another video once I redo the base and once this is all sealed and everything, and put that up and do a final comparison. But right now we'll just do the model. I started painting miniatures. I've been painting for a while, and even that, like, that sounds better than it is. It was just me, some canvas or papers, and just goofing off making what I wanted. So, well, trying to make what I wanted to make. So I got into painting miniatures. Let's do math. Sometime in 2018. So it's been at least a year, maybe more. Not super have a nail down on the head in details. But sometime in 2018 is when I started. Because of school and job, I don't get to paint a whole bunch. But when I do, it's fun. Initially, I started out with painting This guy. Well, this and the other 3 dudes. This is a This was the first one I ever painted. My initials are on his kneecaps. So this was the Primaris Intercessor, not Interceptor, Captain. Now, it's not god-awful. It's not. It's pretty okay. Like, if your entire army for Warhammer, because that's what this is from, looked like this, wouldn't be awful. Hello. I'm right here, camera. There we go. And I got it because I didn't want to have to spend a bunch of money on paints, so I just got the easy-to-build paint kit. So it came with a brush, some paints, and some models. That was rough, because I had no idea what I was doing other than having watched YouTube videos. So I didn't know anything. So not only was I using the crazy glue that comes out of like the little pens, the ones with like the push tab, so when you push it, it comes out. Bad idea. It's garbage. It's really good for certain things. Not this that I found. And I assembled everything. And I used this brush for the entire thing. This big old chunky brush from GW. It's rough. And I used that to paint the entire thing with, because it was an old set. And it had been sitting there for a while. Pretty old paints. And because of that, all I used was single color. So the hair is just black, the gun is black, and some details in gold. There's basically what I did for this was I painted everything that I thought would be a color, that solid color, except for the helmet that has the white stripe. I slathered the entire thing in the Agrax Earthshade that came with it. And I put on the Abaddon Dust, I think it's called, thing for the base, painted the rim, and I sealed it with a gloss polyurethane because I'm dumb. That being said, I made it look like the entire 3 of them looked like it just rained, which was kind of cool. That's my first one ever. Now, it's not awful. Like, does this meet my personal standards for myself as of today? No, but it's not too terrible. And if your models look like this, that's fine. But personally, I know I can do a little bit better. Over the years, I have learned and improved in basing, which I can't prove to you at this current junction, but I should be able to sometime in the near future. I'm better at details. I have a way better brush that keeps a really nice point. It's my Kolinsky Raphael brush. It's real nice. I have more access to more colors. I have expanded my paint line throughout the year. And more importantly is I've learned what works for me. A huge part of your success, however you may define that, in any industry or hobby or venture, is learning what does and doesn't work for you. I saw a bunch of people that would take just the sprue for something, prime it all, paint it all, cut it out, put it together, touch it out. That works for some people. I tried that. I'm not one of those people. I tried completely assembling models and then priming them and then painting wherever you can reach. Didn't work for me. But now I've learned what works for me. What works for me is taking all of the individual pieces, doing a bunch of sub-assemblies, even when you think that you would have enough clearance, just in case. I find somewhere in the joint where it wouldn't be a problem. I use my pin vise to drill a tiny hole, stick a paper clip in it with some super glue, and then I can use this, boop doop doop, and I like bundle up a bunch of cloth so I have a bigger surface to grab, so that way you're not like crunched. And that works for me, and I have good maneuverability, and I can change the position in my hands. I really like that for me. I used to just like stick them on the base onto here, but as I'm doing more decorative and scenic bases, that doesn't really cut it, because I usually make the model separate and then put it on the base. So, and then when you want to take it off, I just take pliers and I hold the one end of the paper clip, and very carefully I heat up the paper clip with a lighter, and you can pop the piece right off, and if you didn't do anything that interferes with the joints, you can glue it together real nice and easy. And that works really well for me. I've also figured out over time good colors and colors that I like that work together, what colors are good for coating, and I tried a bunch of new stuff for this too. So I'm getting a little scatterbrained because I'm a little sick, but the rules of getting better. Now these two are a year apart, of just about. The rules are, find what works for you. Test things out. Sometimes the stuff that you want to do isn't just isn't something that works for you. That's okay. Figure out what works the best for you. 2. I forgot that train of thought already. Now remember, try new things. It's horrifying, and I absolutely hate it, but it's so important. For this model, even for this video, I was like, oh, I should try to make this the best I possibly can. Now, I don't do zenithal highlighting ever. I only have like gray primer, and I just do a gray for everything. A lot of people don't, but that's where it works for me. So I tried it. Came out really cool. Until I started putting paint on top of it. At which point, it didn't work out. And that's okay. And then I was like, okay, this isn't working. Let's let it dry, and we'll just cover it up. So I did. And it's no big deal. That's the next thing. Unintentional perfect segue. Is know when to back down. You don't want to end up making yourself hate the hobby because you're trying so hard. I could have easily fought with my materials and fought with my skills. So many points in this. But sometimes you just have to go, okay, that's not working out. Let's put it down and do something else. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because there are things that I did for this that I tried for the original model and did absolutely not happen. But this time were super easy for me. 90% of what I did for this model, other than base coat, and even then, doing this entire model now, at this level, not including the base, but just for the model itself, took me less time than this one. Ooh, it's a good thing I don't really care about them anymore. But practice is a big part of that. Even your little skills, like the base skills. The more base coats you apply, the more anything and everything you do, the better you get. The faster you can do things, the smoother and easier it is. learning any hobby or skill is always going to be a struggle, but over time, what you're struggling with specifically can change and will change frequently. So I wasn't able to find the exact model of this, but I was able to find the Primaris Lieutenant with a power sword. It didn't come out just like the box art. This isn't perfect. There's lots of stuff about this that I could improve. And I'm sure another year down the line, or even a few months, I could probably do better than this, subjectively speaking. But not too shabby. I'm pretty excited about this one. And when it gets on the base, which is really cool by the way, once I rebuild it. With that being said, who knows, maybe this time I do even the same base, it'll be better. Maybe it'll work out. But here is a new guy. Of course, that's not gonna work. We're gonna try something. There we go, cool. Sometimes my whole life is super finicky. But that's what makes things special and fun. Is the constant daily struggle to get literally anything to work ever. Bam, there's my computer. Hello. Cool. Awesome. Fantastic. I stand corrected. My camera falls corrected. There we go. Let there be light. See, I also don't know what I'm doing with YouTube, but I'm sure I'll learn over time. So here is the Primaris Intercessor Captain. And see, he's not terrible. Very shiny. There's no highlighting. There's nothing going on. He just kind of exists. Here's what the box art looks like for the lieutenant. And here is my final product. If we can get things to focus. And I have to say so myself. Not too shabby. I tried a lot of different things with this one. I tried dark lining, I tried edge highlighting, I tried adding a tiny little bit of script to the purity seals. I tried doing a glow effect. Not a glow, but like the lightning effect. I did multiple stage highlighting. Let's get up in that face. I tried lenses, which you can actually kind of see. I kind of slacked off with the gun. I wasn't feeling it when we got there. And while a lot of these lines are pretty not crisp and great up front, when you look at it from a table, this looks pretty damn cool. I'm not gonna lie. I wonder if you can see the details back in there. You can sort of see the wiring. But if somebody showed me this a year ago and said, you're gonna paint this in one sitting, I would have told them, yeah, no, I can't sit for that long. And they were right, I can't. I took a bunch of breaks to just stretch and walk around. But in one fell session. Let's just get a little comparison side by side. That's pretty good. Pretty big jump. And that doesn't mean that things can't get better and things can't improve from here, because the point is that they can and they will. And when I get that guy slapped on a base, it'll be even cooler. But the whole point of this video and this series of videos is that people's skills change and adjust, and you grow. And no matter what your starting point, and no matter what your end point, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you have fun with your hobby and with your life. Because this is what it's for. It's for fun and enjoyment. And if you aren't enjoying yourself, then what's the point? It's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay to learn. It's important to make mistakes so that you can learn. I made a bunch doing this. Anything and everything you do in this hobby takes you further. I just wanted to thank real quick Goobertown Hobbies and eBay Miniature Rescues for letting me be a part of this. Y'all gotta take risks. Just for shits and giggles, I reached out to the Brent and I was like, hey, you've been doing lots of collabs. What do you want to do one? And he was like, well, I have a bunch of people that want to. So, I have an idea. And so this came about. And it's just because I asked. Take risks. Try new things. Sometimes stuff won't work. But sometimes, just sometimes, you'll do the new next thing. And it'll be fantastic. And then you'll get good at that and have to find a new thing to try and mess up and then eventually get down. Or maybe not. Who knows? Thank you so much for joining me. Sorry about not having a full thing to give you, because I would have loved to, but my dog had another idea. But in the near future, I will have that whole video for you. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you again to Casey and Brent and everybody involved. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye now.